Profesor dr. Felix Unger jedan je od vodećih kardiohirurga u svijetu. Unger je 70. godina prošlog stoljeća napravio prvo vještačko srce. 1986. godine predvodio je prvu transplantaciju vještačkog srca u Europi. Unger je i vrhunski intelektualac. Upravo je njegovom inicijativom, ali i inicijativom nekoliko drugih uglednika, osnovana Europska akademija nauka i umjetnosti 1990. godine u Salzburgu. Član je mnogih evropskih i svjetskih akademija nauka i umjetnosti, cijenjen naučnik sa preko 4000 objavljenih naučnih i stručnih radova. Predsjednik je i prestižnog univerziteta Alma Mater Europea. U Bosnu i Hercegovinu stigao je kako bi držao predavanje na temu Nova Evropa i uloga Balkana u njoj.
Mr. Unger, welcome first of all to Sarajevo and welcome to our program. You came to Sarajevo upon an invitation of the Department of Medical Science of the BosniaHerzegovina Academy of Sciences and Arts. In your lecture, you spoke about the next Europe and the role of the Balkans. So, how would you describe the next Europe?
I would say the next Europe should be formed in a narrative way, and that we are not enhancing and following artificial ideas which are not in an open discussion to set up what's important for the human people is in Europe. And the first, what we see, what we are missing in Europe is a constitution. We have in Europe no constitution. And it's the same when a surgeon is operating with a concept. When I go to operate somebody and I have no idea what to do, then the result could be very lousy. And I'm a little bit shocked that until the whole year there's no constitution existing. And as far as there's no constitution, you are not directed to go away.
How do you see the role of Balkans in it?
Now, I would say the Balkans have an eminent role because here on the Balkans are extreme conflicts and extreme problems. And I met 25 years ago the president of this house, Said Hukovic. He was with us in Salzburg, and he told us on the eve before there's going to be a war, and it was really a cruel war what you have in your country. But you have then with the Balkans, you have the problems between, for example, Macedonia and Greece. When Greece is insisting in a ridiculous way on former Yugoslavia, Republic Macedonia, I think this is not a European spirit. And then the next problems what you face between Serbia and Kosovo, for example. It's an endless story how many problems what you have, but I'm pretty sure with a lot of energy discussions, these problems must be overcome.
On the other side, what is the role of the European Union on the Balkans?
I think this question should be directed to Brussels. But I do not see an effective, good program for the Balkans. I think there's always this standing, this splitting and so on. It's for me ununderstandable. I do not see a proper directed way how to approach the Balkans. I have spoken with a member of the parliament, and based on his word, I'm optimistic that it's going to be better.
So do you think that Balkans is a synonym for divisions, as some people claim, or not?
No, I would say when a whole part of Europe is not living in a prosperous, quiet way, respecting the neighbors, working with the neighbors, and it's difficult to have new steps to Europe.
So is it in Europe, New Europe, possible to speak about Balkans without prejudice?
This would be fine when we have a Europe without justice. Therefore, I'm saying with the next Europe, we have to overcome, or we have to speak. We have nothing to overcome. We have to speak to each other and to bring our ideas. And everybody has another idea. I'm pretty sure you have some ideas. I'm pretty sure that your neighbors have other ideas, and we have to bring it together. Therefore, I do not see that we can work with prejudice.
So you're not a politician, you're a medical doctor, so we are going to talk about other themes. Upon your initiative and the initiative of several other dignitaries, the European Academy of Science and Arts was founded in Salzburg in 1990. Today, if I'm right, it boasts the membership of 1,500 scientists and as many as 32 Nobel Prize winners. What is the most important vision of the European Academy today?
No, I would say we have been meanwhile grown. We are 1,900 members, and I would say we have most activities in the middle and the eastern parts of Europe, some in the south parts. But it depends always to the colleagues who are making invitation, and it differs a little bit. Concerning the Nobel Prize winners, it's one thing to be said which makes us very proud. 8 of them have been already member of our academy, and after this they got the Nobel Prize. As I would say, this is an indication that we have a very good selection process.
Your name is important and great in the world of medicine and cardiac surgery. You are a scientist with over 4,000 published papers. I'm wondering, how do you plan specific research? How do you decide to dedicate your attention to a specific topic? Can you explain that process?
No, I would say it's very easy because, for example, when I started my research in the clinical research, I was always questioning what can we do better. And one thing has been or how we can avoid the death. And one thing has been the cardiac death. And therefore I thought I have to work on a heart replacement. And I was working intensively on a heart replacement.
That was in 1970s?
In the 70s. Therefore I have been also in the United States. And in 86 we implanted the first artificial heart in Salzburg.
Can you recall that period? How did you feel in that moment? How did you feel in that moment when you did it? The first time?
I would say it's coming automatically when you are working very intensively in research, and when you know that based to your research result it might be successful, then you think to the benefit of the patient, how can I help him? But not on other things. It's more or less going, Italian would say, sempre diritto.
Were you scared in that moment?
No.
A little bit? No? You had belief?
I had no... Why should, when I would have been scared, I couldn't do it. When you made a decision and when you have an indication, then you go straight on.
What were your main concerns in that moment? Were there any?
It's let's take it from a natural way. You find an indication and then you are concentrated to fulfill such an operation, to go in the whole direction.
Does this achievement make you most proud?
What shall I say? I was quite happy that I could be the first in Europe, and I was pleased about this, but my life didn't change.
What are you currently working on? Is there any researches?
No, I'm retired. And I'm not anymore working in the clinical field and in medicine, but I'm still interested what's going on in research, and sometimes I make a referee, and sometimes I give advices and something like this. I'm too old for research. Research is very good for young people. Best idea people have with between 25 and 30 years. Therefore, it's a tragic thing in Sarajevo that so many young people in the best innovative period of their life are leaving the country.
You have two sons. My question is, did one of them choose to follow your footsteps?
No.
No.
They haven't seen that it's a hard job to be cardiac surgeon. And I have seen it also by my colleagues from Vienna and from Zurich. All their sons, nobody was studying medicine or going to be a cardiac surgeon. It's very exhausting, and you see it, how exhausting it has been when you are retired. Then you have seen what you have done.
You have also grandchildren.
Yeah.
What do you wish for them?
I wish for them a good
today's
soul
world.
where they can develop themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are looking, you just asked me at the beginning, we have many severe problems in Europe. You think on the convention, you have to look on the euro and so on. The next crisis is ahead with a financial crisis, and therefore my thinking is directed in this way, that we all have together try to create for our children a good soul where they can develop. And again, example is your country. You have not enough soul that your young people is staying in your country. And this is very, very endangering.
The alma mater Europaea University, based in Salzburg, was established upon initiative of the European Academy of Sciences and Arts. You are the president of the university, which has its centers in all major cities in Europe. It is interesting that the university is based on three so-called W principles. What are those principles, and what do they represent?
I would say we have really to change our way of teaching. And the whole blended way and the whole way of distance learning is going to increase. And why should we not take this technique to use it? When we are looking, let's say, some 100 years ago, there was no material where the teacher was teaching in a distance, or you had no material that the student could use. They have to go to the lessons, and they have been exposed directly to the teacher. This is not anymore necessary. You can have a teacher, let's say, in Sarajevo, and the pupil is hearing the lesson in Brussels.
Mm-hmm. What principles do we need to follow in our everyday life? What do you think?
I would say that's always what I say to the graduates. Be honest. I would say in our world is honesty a very, very crucial thing, and therefore we need so many so-called ethics. Ethics in everywhere, in commerce, ethics in medicine, ethics in techniques and so on. You have to be honest. You have to respect life. You have to approach the neighbor. And as I said, and you have to respect the dignity of the next.
Back to the university, in the Balkans, campuses exist in Slovenia and Croatia, and the study programs have been available to students in Bosnia and Herzegovina since 2015. So my question is, do the programs of studies correspond to the needs of the market?
Yes, it's only that's the reason why we are establishing lessons when it's corresponding to the market. And don't forget that we have at Alma Mater, I think, over 300 graduates. And it's a big number.
Yes.
And I learned that 90% of them, or 95, are employed. Alma Mater has an extremely high employability rate.
That are good news. Yes.
It's fantastic.
I'm
proud. I'm proud. That's a correct way, because it's unfair to have children going into a process of a course and with exams and so on, graduation, and when they do not find a job.
Are you going to develop the network of this university here on the Balkans?
No, I would say it's, I can't say it now on the spot, but it's a question of day and day development.
Do you expect opening of Alma Mater Europea University, study programs in some other cities in Europe in the next few years, maybe?
I would say we have one campus established in Italy, Ascoli. We have also one campus established in Pristina. And we have one campus in Mind in Roma, Italy. We have established just one in Munich. We had one in Mannheim. And now I see people having an interest in Vienna. So it's always a play between people who is interested, who can finance it. And then the third question is coming, does this fit to our line? That's important.
As we mentioned in the beginning, you were invited by the Bosnia-Herzegovina Academy of Sciences and Arts. What will be the results of meetings of Bosnia-Herzegovina academic community on one side and European experts on the other side? What do you expect?
No, I would say I'm very optimistic that we find good results. I think it's an exchange of the specific problems, but it's very important to me to know also the situation of Bosnia-Herzegovina. And when I see that so many people is leaving the country, then we have to tell it otherwise to the politicians. Also to your politicians, there must be found an idea to keep people in their own country. And this is a question of industrialization. This is a question of investment. Today I have seen in my hotel where I'm sleeping, there's a conference on ministers focusing this topic. It's not alone Bosnia-Herzegovina. People is going away from Serbia, from Kosovo. I know it's a big drain in nursing from Kosovo to Germany. You see everywhere, and my answer is the people who are responsible in a country has to look and to make the soil that people can stay.
Mr. Unger, thank you very much for your time and for the time for TV1.
Welcome.